Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Rural areas all around San Antonio are dealing with dangerous fire conditions. Those conditions more worrisome in Atascosa County, where the sheriff says they've been dealing with a serial arsonist.
Our John Paul Barajas just spoke to the sheriff and is in Atascosa County this evening to give us a look at those dry conditions and what investigators know about this suspected arsonist. John Paul.
Tim, Myra, the sheriff tells me that they've had 42 arson fires since April. He says these most of those fires are in grass or brush, and with these conditions of being so dry and windy, it's easy to spread and get out of control. Over here to my right is one of the mini arson fires, or what's left of it. All the grass is completely gone. You can see what's left of charred fence posts, and then back over on this side is the dry vegetation that is essentially fuel for these fires and quick to ignite, and then once it gets going, it's hard to catch up to and stop. Unfortunately, to improve these conditions, options are limited if Mother Nature does not help us out. This is what the sheriff had to say.
There's a lot of vegetation that got pretty high, and now it's dead and it's dry. We haven't had rains to green things up. So the conditions are just perfect for fires.
The sheriff explains that anytime you have an arsonist, that is worrisome, but when you have all these dry conditions on top of that, it just makes the arsonist that much more dangerous. Coming up at 10, we'll take a closer look at the investigation behind the arsonist. In Atascosa County, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thanks, John Paul. You know, this summer we have been dealing with such dry conditions, and we got some wind now out there as well. Sarah, there's just been no real relief for us.
Right, and relief would be rain, and unfortunately good soaking rains are not in the forecast for us. So I want to give you an update on the current fires across the hill country. The Big Sky Fire, which is in Gillespie County, now 25% contained. We are not seeing as much smoke from this fire as we did yesterday. Same story out in Blanco County, Hayes County, Smoke Rider Fire, 800 acres, now 50% contained. All right, here's what we're going to talk about in the forecast. Tomorrow, another day with record challenging heat. Friday and Saturday, shaving off a few degrees with a small chance for rain, but again, not going to really help us out when it comes to the drought. And something that could help us out are the tropics, but unfortunately they're quiet for now. For now being the key word there. We'll also talk about some Saharan dust coming into the forecast. All those details coming up.
All right, thank you, Sarah. We'll see you in a bit. 2 days ago, local, state, and national newsrooms filed a lawsuit against the Texas Department of Public Safety over its refusal to release records in the Robb Elementary School massacre. And since then, there have been questions about why this step is necessary.
Alicia Barrera speaks with the lawyer at Haynes Boone, who represents the plaintiffs, including KSAT, and a local professor, about the importance of that lawsuit and the overall transparency.
The media is the fourth estate, and our job is to inform the public.
When it comes to covering a news story, Professor Antoinette Winstead at Our Lady of the Lake University says information must be for the greater good.
I think it comes between want to know and need to know.
Oh, the kids, they're getting the kids out.
She says in the case of the May 24th massacre inside Robb Elementary,
ethically, I think that we need to know. We need to know what happened. Not everybody wants to know the information, but it's our job to give them the information.
That's exactly why, under the Texas Public Information Act, media organizations across the nation have joined forces, asking a judge to order DPS to release records related to the case.
The exemptions that are being asserted by DPS are entirely discretionary. They are things that they can choose to hide or they can choose to disclose.
Laura Prather at Haynes and Boone is the lead counsel representing the Media Coalition.
What the Media Coalition is trying to do here is to unearth what happened during that day so that this community can have closure.
And while Prather says it could take months to more than a year for a final ruling, Winstead says it's an example that journalists have not forgotten about their role and right in pushing for transparency.
All those children were killed. And so we need to know what happened, what didn't work, so that it doesn't happen again.
If there's not a systemic failure.
And the media are there to keep people honest.
Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
As we move closer to getting back to school, Boerne ISD is partnering with surrounding law enforcement agencies to put a student resource officer, or SRO, at every one of their campuses this fall. Each SRO is a certified Texas peace officer coming from Boerne Police, Fair Oaks Police Department, or the Kendall County Sheriff's Office. They will be assigned to a campus and present and even present at the end of the school at events. Many of the student resource officers have specialized training. The district splits the cost of training and salary with each agency. The advantage of their model is it allows for stronger relationships between the students and staff should a problem arise.
The school administration works with the SRO and with those who reported it to try and investigate the situation. So I think that is a really a beneficial way of doing it, is the teamwork that it takes and just being aware of your surroundings.
Larger districts like Northside ISD have their own district-wide police agencies.
We reached out to some of those districts because, of course, after what happened in Uvalde, there are certainly plenty of concerns heading back to school. NEISD says that it's made many safety improvements in recent years. That includes adding mental health police officers and contracting a third-party company to monitor social media for any concerning posts. Northside ISD says it's been inspecting multiple safety aspects at each of its campuses, and there could be changes to some protocols and procedures. The district says any of those changes would be communicated to families at the campus level. SAISD, meantime, says the district's safety and security procedures are continually renewed and practiced. They include a campus safety committee tailored for each school, and then also a district-wide safety and security committee to help guide safety measures.
To other stories we're following this Wednesday, toxic is how friends and family are describing the relationship between Jorge Izquierdo and Cora Nickel. Izquierdo is currently on trial and accused of killing Nickel back in August of 2020. Erica Hernandez was at the trial today and has more on the latest testimony.
More witnesses for the state as they continue to present their case against Jorge Izquierdo. Adam Serrano, a close friend of Izquierdo, testified for the prosecution today. Serrano told the jury about how well he knew him and what he would see between his friend and his girlfriend, Cora Nickel.
I witnessed like them arguing, them breaking up, like her throwing his stuff out, like the apartment, like I witnessed all that stuff.
While he says they argued a lot, he says he never saw any physical violence between the two.
Like from what I seen, like George never like put his hands on her, like he didn't. It was more like of her yelling at him, like him being on the receiving end of the yelling.
Serrano also said that Izquierdo owned 2 guns, a shotgun that he kept at his apartment and a .40 caliber pistol he often carried in his vehicle. The jury was also shown a ring security footage as well as crime scene photos where a spent cartridge was found inside the home. That cartridge was found in the kitchen of Cora's home, not far from where her body was. Another piece of evidence collected a set of car keys found along the outside back fence. The ring footage shown in court showed Izquierdo and Nickel arriving the night before, but nobody ever leaving the front door. Those keys were to Izquierdo's car that was still parked in front of the home. If he is found guilty, he is facing up to life in prison. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Generations have known it as SAHA, the San Antonio Housing Authority, but now we'll have to get used to calling it Opportunity Home San Antonio. Jesse DeGollado says the agency believes this new name better reflects its mission of serving residents and providing affordable housing they can call home.
85 years after it was born out of the deplorable conditions on San Antonio's west side, building the nation's first public housing, the San Antonio Housing Authority has a new name. It's now Opportunity Home San Antonio.
I think it's better than an authority.
Joanna Hernandez says the word authority said SAHA held the power. Opportunity doesn't.
Like giving the power back to the people. That's going to sound like, that even sounds like opportunity for the next generation, opportunity for the people, and that means everyone.
The agency, after all, is no longer just about buildings, so says its president and CEO, Ed Hinojosa Jr.
We don't only provide housing, we provide other support services and opportunities for our residents.
Hinojosa says staff are being trained to convey its new values of equity and compassion.
We're ultimately, engaging our residents in processes that they have not been engaged in the past.
Since Hinojosa took over, Miranda says the old Saha has made progress, but true change will take time.
Yes, it's about building a bridge between tenants and staff and building back the trust that has been lost for so many years.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
Let's take a look at traffic out there right now. Let's go to the camera here. I-35 at Maine. You can see the upper and the lower levels. Looks like there is some stop and go traffic as you head towards I-10 there, also on the lower level as well, but no major problems out there to tell you about.
Sticking with the theme of traffic here, the city of San Antonio thinks it has found a compromise to get the state's green light for their vision of a redesigned Broadway.
Yeah, this has been a back and forth. They've been clashing for months over the city's plan to reduce traffic lanes in order to make space for what the city calls a complete street concept on Broadway. That would include bike lanes, landscaping, expanded sidewalks. Garrett Berger tells us what the city is changing and why the state still doesn't appear ready to give that go-ahead.
From 6 lanes of traffic down to 4. That planned loss of lanes on Broadway Avenue is what lost the city a long planned transfer of a 2.2-mile state-owned stretch of the road back in January. Well, the state said the project wasn't dead.
But the only stipulation is we cannot reduce capacity on Broadway.
Now, city officials think they have a solution.
We can have all the capacity and we can reduce congestion, so that's no longer an issue.
The city's new plan is largely the same, and notably still includes fewer lanes. But they think their tweaks should soothe congestion concerns.
Part of the city's plan includes using medians to block drivers from turning left in between intersections, which can slow down traffic. So if I decided I wanted Taco Cabana right now, I'd need to go up to the next intersection and turn around.
They also have plans to maximize the intersection's efficiency, including synchronized traffic lights.
If the driver is following the speed limits posted on the roadway, they should hit all green light at the same time.
But TxDOT still seems disinclined to consider cutting lanes. They sent us a lengthy statement holding the line on keeping the existing lanes, saying in part, quote, "While we do not agree with the findings to reduce the lanes from 6 lanes to 4 lanes, we believe this creates an opportunity for continued conversations." Asked about TxDOT's statement, the city says they still haven't received an official decision. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Still to come here on the news at 6, there is a new material being designed to help protect your skin from mosquitoes. How this works after the break.
Welcome back. I'm Stefania Jimenez, and here's what we're working on for you tonight on the Night Beat. Staffing shortages and safety concerns, how one school district is handling its need for more school bus drivers, and also how it's affecting families. Plus, another potential problem for parents. Why is it so difficult to find after-school care for your kids? We're going to cover that tonight on the Night Beat. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Stefania. We haven't had the sort of rain this summer that makes mosquitoes a big issue. They are still around, certainly in some low-lying areas, and that's where they're hanging out. West Nile, Zika, chikungunya, or malaria are often spread by the bite of infected mosquitoes.
Of course, we know bug sprays do help, but Ursula Perry shows us a newly developed mosquito-proof material that could be a game changer.
Hard to imagine something this small can do so much damage. One bite from an infected mosquito may be all it takes.
It's actually injecting saliva into your body.
And a team of researchers at North Carolina State University have been testing non-toxic ways to protect human skin.
There's nothing like an actual being for attracting the insects.
Even when you cover up, you're not out of reach. Mosquitoes can bite through clothing, so these scientists used mathematical equations to design material that mosquitoes can't bite through.
And it has to do with the pore size. If we make the pore size small enough, the mouth parts can't go through it. The tortuosity of the path they have to go through to get to your skin.
The researchers tested the material on the forearm of a team member, reaching into a cage with about 100 disease-free mosquitoes. And not a single mosquito was able to bite through. Michael Rowe's fascination with mosquitoes is more than 50 years in the making. It was fueled by his high school's 4-H club.
I was the kid walking around the high school with a butterfly net.
Others were drawn to the research by an interest in science, but stay because they're committed to making a difference.
We all spend a lot of time doing this, sticking our arms in mosquito cages or sleeping under bed nets here, because we really feel that a lot of this stuff here is something that can help.
The researchers also tested a shirt for the military. They had a volunteer sit and stand in a cage filled with mosquitoes for 10 minutes and was 100% protected. If you're looking to buy some of these clothes, you're going to have to wait, though. NC State says that it's already given the patent to a startup company. It's going to start weaving these new materials soon. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
I have seen plenty of mosquitoes around this summer, so I don't know if it's the lack of rain or what, but they're there.
They're there. You know, I know that obviously rain, mosquitoes are a side effect of that, but we'll take more rain, any rain at this point.
Honestly, you know, the benefits of rainfall way exceed having a few more mosquitoes out there, in my opinion, at least. You know, guys, today the fire danger was very high. Thankfully, we did not see any major fires around the San Antonio metro area right now, but tomorrow the fire danger still remains high. It is down from today, but still high. Anywhere you see that deep orange color, like out near Gonzales County, that's where fire danger is very high. The lighter orange around San Antonio, still high fire danger, with moderate fire danger out toward Medina County. Here's the thing in this situation. Tomorrow the winds are not going to be as strong as they were today, but we're still going to see a few gusts of up to about 25 miles per hour. Taking a look at the almanac today, 103 for the high temperature. We tied a record set back in 1998. Very hot, well above average by some 6 degrees, and we're going to do it all again tomorrow. Tomorrow, once again, the high is going to be 103, tying that record set back in 2011. Heck, we may even beat that record if we can get another degree in there. But notice that by Friday and Saturday, our temperatures do fall below 100. It's still going to be hot, but at least shaving off a few degrees there. The reason for that, low pressure system right here over Louisiana. You can see just how much rain it's producing. Now, we're not going to get that much rain from this low pressure system, but it could swing a few isolated showers and storms our way and give us a little bit more cloud cover. But unfortunately, no big healthy rain because this heat high is the dominant weather factor. So I can take you through the futurecast here. You can see that low pressure system approaching in from the east. By Friday and Saturday, coastal showers and storms are possible, in fact probable, with 1 or 2 of those trying to make it to that I-35 corridor. Again, that's why we'll only have a 20% chance for an isolated shower or storm. So again, not going to be helping us with the drought is concerned, but it could knock down those temperatures a bit. We really need some good healthy rain, potentially from the tropics, but unfortunately no development is expected in the next 5 days out in the Atlantic. And the reason for that, at least temporarily right now, is because we do have a plume of Saharan dust right over Africa right now, where a lot of those tropical waves get going. The dust prevents them from becoming organized, but we're just about to see Atlantic hurricane season typically ramp up. So we'll be keeping an eye on the tropics, let you know if anything happens as far as giving us a little bit of rain from a tropical system. As for your Thursday, 78 in the morning, 93 and mostly sunny at noon, 103 for the high temperature. Again, that would be a record for the day. A few gusts up to 25 miles per hour, but not as breezy as today. Forecast highs around the KSAT 12 viewing area. I'm sorry, out to the west, it's going to be even hotter. 107 in Eagle Pass, 105 in Del Rio, 104 in Honda, 104 in Pleasanton, 100 only in Kerrville, only 100, wow. 103 at Stinson, 103 in Seguin, 104 in New Braunfels, and 104 in Hondo. All right, some light Saharan dust is going to return tomorrow. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll talk about the forecast air quality because of that light Saharan dust. Just know, though, that we've only got a small chance for rain Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, it's back to the August heat through next week as well. Tim, Myra.
All right, we are in the thick of it. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, Larry, Cowboys camp continues. Right now, a lot of the unanswered questions are about, will the defense be as good as it was last year?
They certainly have their fingers crossed that the defense is going to be just as good as last year. So the Cowboys led the NFL, forcing 34 turnovers last year. So can they have a repeat performance? Greg Simmons is live in California with more on that. And right here in town, Brandeis Volleyball is back to work as they look to defend their state championship. Coming up.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Many already know about Terrence Steele out of Steele High School and how he's grown into a valued offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys and looking to solidify his role as a starting right tackle. But you may not know about another undrafted free agent from San Antonio, also on the Cowboys camp roster, and that's wide receiver Dennis Houston from Warren High School. He was signed by the Cowboys out of Western Illinois, and he's turning heads in camp and catching the eye of everyone from CeeDee Lamb, Mike McCarthy, and Dak Prescott. So what does Dennis think of the praise he's getting?
I'm just trying new things and learning new things as I go along, adapting to how they play me and how I can improve every day watching the film. But I mean, I win when I expect to, when I think I'm supposed to, so that's what it is.
With more on the Cowboys, let's take you live to Cali in our Greg Simmons.
You know, Larry, they had what they call a mock game earlier today. It's actually a walkthrough, and it kind of gives them a break after being in pads for 2 days. Their afternoon practice is closed, hence why we're here at our favorite live shot location. This, of course, Grant Park in Ventura. We don't mind a bit. Now, Cowboys hard-hitting safety Jaron Kearse got a scare in camp earlier this week when he was on the same day that James Washington went down with a broken foot. Kearse came up limping with a knee injury, would walk off the field under his own power but returned shortly. He said he just planted awkwardly, was cleared by the doctors to return. The Dallas D led the league in takeaways last year with 34, and Kearse was asked about how that came about.
That came from our coaches, just a ball mentality. We talk about the ball every day, whether it's a script sack, a forced fumble, or a pick. We pride ourselves on getting the ball. I see nothing different with this year, the way we're approaching everything and just going out there and trying to compete and, get better every day. We're going out there and, we know the numbers that we had last year. We're trying to beat that.
And one way to do that, according to the Cowboys coaches in particular, the defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, is to increase forced fumbles. They'll be working on that in camp. And coming up tonight on the Night Beat, we'll be in Santa Monica with a story about Micah Parsons. How can this guy have a better year next year after the rookie season he had? Live from Ventura, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Thank you very much, Greg. Turning to high school volleyball, your defending 6A state champion Brandeis Broncos are getting ready for the new season. The Broncos lost 10 players from their 2021 championship team. Some key talent indeed, but Coach Williams says of the 7 players left, 6 of them are on the court at state. They still have quality student athletes as they look to go back-to-back, and they are the Class 6A team to beat. Coach Williams is certainly getting her team ready for the task at hand.
Yeah, so she says, we have a target on our back, right? And then she says, we can't let this affect how we play, right? Because a lot of eyes are going to be on us. But in the end, we have to focus on the volleyball is the most important part.
It's honestly made us that much more excited for this season, knowing you have that target on your back and knowing that you're the ones that everybody wants to beat, or just going out there and playing your hardest, knowing that everyone has this set expectation of you. It's really exciting, and it just makes you want to perform better in the gym.
Our kind of thing this year is going to be, we have the same expectations, just a different journey. Things are going to be a little different. Obviously, we're going to be in sync. We're going to take a little while to kind of get where we want to be, but I think having a target on your back is kind of fun. We're competitors here. We like to compete, and so for us, I feel like we've always had that going on here anyway.
Brandeis will start the regular season Monday, August 8th against O'Connor at Northside Gym, right around the corner.
Best of luck to them and all the student athletes who are getting back at it.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Okay, right now we're going to talk about food insecurity. According to the USDA, it is a problem that affects millions of people here in the U.S., but with that comes nutrition insecurity.
The USDA says poor nutrition is one of the leading causes of illness in the U.S., no matter where you are. Grant Armez shows us how a group in Detroit is trying to get people access to healthier foods.
You've probably seen this quote before. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. And that quote is most often attributed to this guy, Hippocrates, widely known as the father of medicine, and he said it way back in 400 BC. Except he didn't. Scholars have looked. and it isn't anywhere in his writings. The first mention of it was in 1926 in a fad diet book from one of the first health gurus in Los Angeles. But just because it doesn't come from the best place doesn't mean it isn't true. Across the U.S., more than 11 million people are considered food insecure by the USDA. But there's another problem. It's what's known as nutrition insecurity. And that's most easily shown like this.
I thought the best way to show this was through Venn diagrams on a whiteboard, because nutrition insecurity is more than just not having enough to eat. It actually breaks down into three things. The first is pretty simple. Is there enough food for you to eat? And is it near you? Usually within a half a mile is best. If you can get there, is that food healthy? A big problem in a lot of cities all across the country. And last is access. Can you get to that food, if at all? A lot of times people don't have cars, and the public transit is bad. Also, access is cost. Some of that food can be very expensive. And in all of these places where this overlaps, you find another problem. Healthcare costs also on the rise, often because people have to spend money to get healthcare, and they have healthcare needs because they haven't been getting the food that they need.
In 2022, the Michigan Food Security Council found healthcare costs from food and nutrition insecurity were more than $1.8 billion every year. And most of those are chronic health problems like diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension. It creates this sort of loop. People can't get the healthy food because they can't afford it, which makes them food insecure, which makes their health problems worse, which means they have to spend money on healthcare, but then they can't afford the food they need. People trapped in this loop of poverty, poor health, and hunger. And it happens year after year. The council saying there is often a perpetual cycle of income restriction, food insecurity, and adverse health outcomes, which is incredibly difficult to break. But there is a program in Detroit working to make food medicine and to help break that cycle of poor nutrition, poor health, and high costs.
When you're in the office and they say, well, to manage your diabetes, you need to eat these foods in this way. And then you realize that you want to manage your diabetes. You want to avoid the complications of, non-traumatic amputations, blindness, heart disease, all of those things that go with diabetes. And yet, when you go home, you don't have access to the very things that your provider and your team within the healthcare setting told you about.
Dr. Kimberly Dawn Wisdom is with Henry Ford Hospitals in Detroit. She helps lead programs called Henry's Groceries that deliver food right to people's doors, and a program called Fresh Prescriptions, or Fresh RX, which helps put people on specific healthy food plans depending on their specific needs.
So what happens is when individuals go and meet with their doctor will say, okay, eat better. But oftentimes, as physicians, we're not trained on how you need to eat better for your particular condition. So this way, we don't have to have all that nutrition expertise. We actually can refer you to a community educator that we link the person with.
In 2015, the programs started with just a handful of people. Nearly a decade later, they've ballooned to help cover more than 1,300, which in a city like Detroit, where 50% of the residents are food insecure, it may not seem like a lot. But it is a start. And we know these programs really work. In a study in Preventative Medicine Reports that looked at the number from these programs in Detroit, took a look at levels of A1C, which measured blood sugar. Those levels have to be closely monitored for people with diabetes. The study found that just $10 a week for 2 months for fresh, healthy food helped lower blood sugar levels dramatically, while people who didn't get that money saw their levels rise.
So these programs work in a few key ways. The first is just getting people food. Programs like Fresh RX already do that right to their door. Also, making sure that that food is healthy, just like before, and also these are prescribed diets. In most cases, the food is healthy even when it's not. The last one is the most important one, education. So often people don't know how to prepare their new healthy food or don't know how to prepare it in a healthy way. These programs try to make sure that all three of these things happen so they can help alleviate some of those chronic issues.
It's not just about food. It's about food that is nutrition dense, that has the right calories, because all food is not the same.
In places all across the country, there are plans like Henry's Groceries and Fresh RX, and during the pandemic, they were invaluable, but they simply don't go far enough.
Okay, one more Venn diagram. It seems like this should be a thing that we can solve on a wider scale, but there are major hurdles standing in the way. The first is funding. So many of these programs are cobbled together by grants and donations, meaning sometimes that money can dry up or they have to meet strict standards. The second is insurance often doesn't cover these kinds of programs or these diets, only in cases that are really specific, like after weight loss surgeries or people with wasting conditions. Finally, it's follow-up from doctors. So often a doctor will prescribe a new diet or say you need to eat healthy, but then not be able to follow up with their patient, or that patient falls through the cracks, and tracking them down can be time-consuming and really expensive.
So even if Hippocrates didn't say food is medicine, he's definitely famous for something else, which makes this all come full, well, circle. The oath that doctors take, the Hippocratic Oath, is named after Hippocrates, and it says do no harm. And that's exactly what programs like FreshRx and Henry's Groceries do. No harm, with the hopes of erasing this problem for good.
And you can check out more of our Solutionaries content at youtube.com/solutionaries. You can also scan and click the QR code right there on your screen right now. There you'll find hours of solutions-based stories focused on delivering answers to complicated issues like police-community relations, the housing crisis, and much more. Be sure to like and share and subscribe. We'll be right back.
The San Antonio Film Festival is returning this year. 6 days, more than 200 films. It's all happening at the Radius Center downtown.
Tiffany Huertas gives us a sneak peek of what you can expect at this year's festival.
Celebrating movies and the filmmakers themselves and the actors and the people behind the cameras.
At the San Antonio Film Festival, you can catch feature films, documentaries, and works by San Antonians.
It's basically three couples that live over 50 years in the same apartment. So one lives in the 70s, the next one in the 90s, and the next one in the 2020s.
Jose Raul Corres is excited to share this film in his hometown.
It's a dream because it's when you are accepted by your peers. It's way better than being accepted by anyone else.
After each film screening, audience members will get an opportunity to hear from the filmmakers who are from Texas and from across the world. Sam Punto traveled from Germany to show his film this weekend, The Holding Room.
I have a family from the area, and so obviously coming here is really great. It feels very personally welcoming. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
From mystery to comedy, there's something here for everyone.
These are more humanistic stories. They're more touching. They're love stories. They're passionate filmmakers, passionate actors.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Look outside with live cam. Another brutally hot day out there. You can just feel the heat in this picture, Sarah.
Yeah, Myra. In fact, today, record heat for us. We tied a record set back in 1998. The high temperature today was 103. The low this morning was a balmy 79. That makes 54 100-degree days. We're getting closer and closer to having the most 100-degree days in a year. Only 3 more to beat out 2011, and only 5 more to beat out 2009. We might get to that 5 more by this time next week. I'll have a look at the forecast, shaving off a few degrees from the high, and even a small chance for rain coming up.
A buried treasure has been found after centuries underwater. Explorers have found artifacts from the Nuestra Señora de las Maravillas, which translates to Our Lady of Wonders. The nearly 900-ton Spanish ship sunk after it collided with one of the boats from its own fleet and then crashed into a coral reef near the Bahamas.
The Our Lady of Wonders was carrying a lot of cargo when it went under, and millions of items have been recovered from the 1650s to the 1990s. This recent discovery includes coins, jewels, and gemstones that previously belonged to knights who fared the sea. We still have a ways to go, but nothing marks the end of summer like the return of all things pumpkin spice. We're talking lattes, cinnamon rolls, beer, you name it, it's in everything. And now another company is getting in on the fun. You see them there, you know what it is.
Tim is really excited about
My
this.
eyes are rolling out of my head, Myra.
I can hear it. I can actually hear it. After a 5-year hiatus, Oreo's pumpkin spice cookies are returning. The limited edition cookie hits shelves August 15th. That's actually later than some other Thanksgiving or fall-themed decor I have already seen.
Can we get to Labor Day first?
How about we just get temperatures under 100?
It was 103 degrees.
I know, absolutely hot outside. It's still in the triple digits right now. Take a look at temperatures and the satellite. Clear skies out there right now. 101 in San Antonio, but it's still 104 in Pleasanton, 103 in Hondo. Just shy of 100 degrees up in the hill country in Kerrville, but elsewhere 102 in New Braunfels, 103 Stinson, 104 in Castroville. This time yesterday, we could see smoke plumes from space from both the Big Sky fire out there in Gillespie County. Thankfully, both of these fires have been contained a little bit more, and we're really not seeing as many flames as we saw yesterday, but still firefighters are battling these fires. We've got updates on KSAT.com about those. Tomorrow, fire danger will still be high, but wind gusts will not be as bad. We're going to have wind gusts up to about 20 miles per hour tomorrow, so not too bad. Fire danger just not quite as high, but still, because it's been so dry, we've got a ton of fuel for those fires in the form of dry vegetation. As I mentioned, still 101 outside. It still feels like 103, and winds are gusting from the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. Tonight's going to be a warm and windy one. We're going to see winds about 30 mile per hour gusts from the south. Temperatures will still be near 90 degrees by 10 p.m., 84 by 12. It's muggy out there right now, but by midnight it's just going to be downright humid. And early tomorrow morning, 78 degrees as you start out your day. Here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast. We're quickly going to see skies clear a lot like we did today. Pretty much a carbon copy of today's forecast tomorrow. By noon, we'll be in the low 90s and we'll be already at 100 degrees by 2 p.m. tomorrow. 103 for the high temperature, winds sustained from the south at about 10 miles per hour. Here's the neighborhood view of how hot it'll be. 100 in Comfort, 100 in Boerne, 101 in Bulverde, 103 Converse area, 103 Seguin, 104 in Hondo, 105 in Uvalde, 102 in Utopia. I want to mention Saharan dust is going to be returning tomorrow. Now the plume itself is going to be light on Thursday, light on Friday, even lighter on Saturday, and then dissipating for the rest of the weekend. But I do want to give you a heads up because I know that a lot of folks tend to have some kind of allergy symptoms from some Saharan dust, even if it is light. The good news is air quality won't take too much of a hit. Still going to be moderate tomorrow, which is not too bad. Again, really only if you know you're sensitive to the Saharan dust will it be an issue. Take a look at the satellite and radar. Notice out to the east, right near New Orleans, there's a low pressure system here producing quite a bit of rain. This is going to be moving to the west towards San Antonio. Now, unfortunately, before we get our hopes up, we're not going to be seeing nearly as much rain as they are seeing across Louisiana. And the reason for that, I bet you can guess if you've been paying attention to the weather. That heat high going to be pushing down on the air and keeping a lot of showers and storms from developing. So unfortunately, only a 20% chance for isolated showers and storms Friday and Saturday. Now, with that low pressure system approaching, it is going to increase our cloud cover a bit. So at least we're going to see temperatures dip below 100 degrees on Friday and Saturday, but we'll be rebounding right back up into the triple digits as we start next week. Again, no major rainmakers for us. The farmers and the ranchers are really feeling that. Justin Horn put an article about that online on KSAT.com if you want to read more about how this drought is affecting our farmers and ranchers.
Yeah, it's affecting the livelihoods of so many people in our area.
Such a tough year.
Mm-hmm.
In case you missed it, coming up next.
It is Wednesday. It is August 3rd.
Checking back in now on 2 grass fires that have been burning up in the hill country. The Smoke Rider fire in Hays County has increased to 800 acres since we first told you about it yesterday here on the news at 5. From the video, you can see the difference from yesterday until today. The one with the helicopter, or the plane flying there. That's from yesterday. You can see today fewer flames, less smoke, but they are still continuing to fight that. And Enchanted Rock State Natural Area had to be closed today because of that fire.
Over in Gillespie County, the Big Sky fire has burned through thousands of acres. At last check, it was up to 1,400 acres. This is that fire that's burning north of Fredericksburg.
Xavier Johnson has now been found guilty on 2 charges today. Johnson was convicted of aggravated assault of a public servant as well as evading arrest after he stole a Converse police unit in 2019. Johnson chose not to have his sentence decided by a jury, but instead by the judge. That is scheduled to take place next month. He is facing 5 to 99 years in prison.
It is so hard to believe, but it has now been 3 years since 23 people were killed in a shooting at an El Paso Walmart. Today, mourners stopped by a makeshift memorial outside of that Walmart store, many of them leaving flowers, balloons, candles. There's also a cross for each of those victims. Right now, the alleged shooter, Patrick Crusius, is still awaiting trial.
If you want to take a trip to space, you'll need a chaperone. NASA says a former astronaut will have to come along for the ride during private missions. The requirement has yet to be finalized, but NASA officials say having a legitimate astronaut on board provides proper experience and guidance for the mission.
Just want to come on here and say that there is a fire now burning near Wimberley in Hayes County. We'll continue to keep you updated on that, but just know that temperatures are going to be near record highs tomorrow to 103 degrees. Isolated showers and storms possible Friday and Saturday. Temperatures below 100. Looking into next week, it's going to be hot. 100 or hotter into the next part of August, guys.
That fire risk remains high. Thanks, Sarah, and thank you for watching the news at 6.
See you back here for the Night Beat tonight at 10. Until then, have a good evening.